Of the cards in the box, you have your first player card. Go ahead and set that off to the side for now. You have your 8 planet cards. Each of them has a different side. Randomize which side is face up. And then you have your 2 decks of aliens. Each player gets one, either the Morkalites or the Antillians. The decks are the same other than the pictures. Lay the planet cards in a row in between the players in numerical order as shown. Decide which player is going to go first, give them the first player card, and give each player one of the 2 different decks, the Antillians or the Morkalites. After shuffling the deck, each player draws 4 cards to start their hand, put the rest of the deck off to the side. The objective of the game is to control more of the planets in this star system than your opponent by the end of the game. Throughout the game, you'll be deploying aliens from your hand into the siege forces at each of these planets. Where you deploy an alien from your hand is going to depend on the number of aliens that are in your hand, which is referred to as your deployment value. At the start of the game, if you have 4 cards in your hand, your deployment value is 4. When you deploy an alien, you must deploy it to the siege force that matches the deployment value. So for my first turn, I would deploy an alien to planet 4, which matches my deployment value of 4. Each deck contains 2 types of aliens. Soldiers cause either player to draw or discard aliens. Each of the soldiers has a choice on it. For example, your enemy draws 1 or 2 aliens. The player that deploys the alien chooses which of those 2 options will be triggered. Officers have different types of abilities that will be triggered when you deploy them. To tell which type of alien each card is, look to the description in the bottom right-hand corner of the card. In addition to the effects on the alien cards, the planet cards have effects on them that can be triggered when you deploy an alien to that planet. When you deploy an alien to a planet, first trigger the effect on the alien. If you can trigger the effect on the alien, you must do so. Then, you may trigger the effect on the planet after the alien's effect has been resolved. The planet effect is optional and does not need to be activated. Some planet effects need to be triggered when you deploy your alien rather than after it. But unless otherwise stated on the planet card, trigger the effect on the alien card and then the planet. After you have resolved the effects of your alien card, and if you have chosen to do so, your planet card, pass the turn to the next player. There is no draw phase for your turn. Only draw aliens from your deck if an alien or planet effect tells you to do so. However, if you start or end your turn with no aliens in your hand, draw 4 aliens from the deck. When it's your opponent's turn, they will deploy an alien to their siege force on their side of the planet that depends on their deployment value. As the game progresses, players will continue to deploy aliens to the siege forces at their planets. When one player draws the last card of their deck, finish that turn and continue playing until the second player gets one final turn. Then the game is over. The objective is to conquer more planets than your opponent by deploying more aliens to your siege force than they do at that planet. To calculate your score, look at each planet individually. The player that has more aliens deployed than the other wins the point for that planet. Each of the first 7 planets are worth 1 point. If both players have deployed the same number of aliens to a planet, no one will be awarded that point. The 8th planet is worth only half of a point. In this matchup, the Antillians have conquered more planets than the Morkalites and win the game.